This is our news, the weekend edition. And on the broadcast tonight, calling for a national discussion. A senior cabinet member says Bahamians should discuss the country becoming a republic. Plus, a former member of parliament blasts government's ban on plastics. Find out why. And later on, vendors already seeing the benefits of the sand dollar digital currency.
Our news is brought to you by LLOYD.
Good evening, I'm Andrew Knowles, and thanks so much for joining us. The discussion on whether the Bahamas should become a republic has once again surfaced. This time, Education Minister Jeffrey LLOYD voicing his opinion that the decision should be left in the hands of the Bahamian people. Our Georgie O'Bain reports.
Minister of Education Jeffrey LLOYD told reporters that he believes there should be a decision over whether the Bahamas should be a republic.
That's something that has been discussed over and repeatedly, questions about whether the Bahamas should become a republic. And I think that that's something that the Bahamian people should have an opportunity to discuss. In 2000, and I think it was 3 or 4, the Honorable late Paul Adderley conducted a constitutional questions and headed a constitutional commission. And I think that there was some appetite for a republic.
Last July, Transport and Local Government Minister Renwood Wells reignited the conversation when he said the Bahamas should remove the Queen as its head of state and move towards becoming a republic. LLOYD said he believes it's definitely worth a discussion and the Bahamian people should have the final say.
I'd like to hear what the people have to say about it and whether that form of government best suits the aspirations of our people at this time. I think a discussion is appropriate, absolutely, and I believe that it is necessary as we evolve as a people to have that discussion and determine how we want to govern ourselves.
In 2012, the Constitutional Commission recommended that the Bahamas evolve from a constitutional monarchy into a republic within the Commonwealth of Nations. LLOYD said some may question why not take advantage of the system which is currently in place.
We have not maximized the potential of our parliamentary democracy as we have it now, and we are considering another form of government. Why not look and see how we can, utilize all of the benefits, opportunities, and advantages that is now presently available to us that we have not yet taken advantage of.
Reporting for our News Weekend Edition, I'm Georgie O'Bain.
Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest telling reporters recently that the major issues that were hindering the sale of the Grand LUCAYAN resort have been resolved and the government is moving forward with the finalization of the sale.
Again, it is moving forward. I don't know the specific time frame at the moment, but I know that the major issues have been resolved, and so it's just a matter now, I think, of tidying it all up and getting it done.
Progress is also being made with the Grand Bahama International Airport, according to Turnquest, who said the government is in discussions with the current owners about revamping the airport's building codes.
We look forward to the owners of the airport coming up with a long-term plan. We know that there needs to be some adjustments in respect to the buildings and how we build on that airport to ensure that we don't have this kind of circumstance again. But those are discussions that are currently being held.
So the government's not looking into purchasing?
Those are discussions that the government is having.
Meantime, former Tall Pines MP Leslie Miller has joined the Progressive Liberal Party's leader in slamming government's ban on single-use plastics. The ban is a part of the Environmental Protection Act 2019, which took effect on January 1st and bans the use of single-use plastics like utensils and plastic bags. The opposition has taken issue with the fact that businesses are able to charge their patrons 25 cents to $1 for a plastic bag up until July 1st.
It cannot be right. The price of food in this country is already at least 100% higher than it is in Miami. At least 100%. You can tell me I got to go to the spot of taking a bag to the food store now? That's a disgrace. And this government must stop it.
Despite supporting the bill when it was last passed November, opposition leader Philip Davis said the government should have gone about the ban in reverse. Miller has called for the entire act to be rescinded.
Why would you charge me for something that you know that the government has already determined to be illegal? You are part of that act, and you already paid for that bag at least 1,000 times over. It is not fair, and the government must stop it. And the food store operators must have a conscience for these poor black people in this country. Stop it. Show that you have a conscience, man. Help the poor. In fact, you should be helping them because they're the ones who keeping you rich. They come in your food store every day to buy. You should be happy to give them a damn bag. A bag?
Miller also questioned the impact the ban has on packing boys in grocery stores.
But what concerns me is the fact that the young fellas who work in those food stores every week trying to get their lunch money, they probably make about $40 a week. So that's sufficient to help them to buy lunch for the week. They're now gone. I went to most of the food stores to check on them. They don't exist anymore.
Hey, good morning.
Because you don't get no bag. Why would you charge me? Why would I pay you 25 cents for a bag that I was getting free the day before?
In news from the courts, President of the Bahamas Bar Association, KAHLIL Parker, is calling for outstanding applications for judges and Queen's counsels to be addressed. He made the appeal at the opening of the legal year.
We have members of the bar awaiting timely and proper consideration of long-standing applications to be appointed Queen's Counsel. We also have members of the bar and bench awaiting fair and reasonable consideration of long-standing applications for judicial appointment and promotion. The pathway to the bench and senior legal office in this country must be meritocratic, straight and narrow, and it must also be transparent and accessible to all.
The most recent judge to be appointed to the Supreme Court bench is Justice Lauren Klein, QC. Klein previously served as a commander of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force and chief counsel in the Office of the Attorney General. Chief Justice Brian Morley, QC, says he plans to appoint several judges to various divisions of the Supreme Court bench. Parker says that process should be transparent.
We insist that a public commitment be made to ensuring meritocracy, transparency, and due process in the appointment of Queen's Counsel and the appointment and promotion of all judges and judicial legal offices. This must include the reasonable and public advertisement of vacant posts, a clear and detailed application process, and meaningful consideration of applications and consultation with Bar Counsel with respect thereto.
From the crime beat, a man was found dead in bushes on EXUMA yesterday. Police have launched an investigation into the matter, but for now they're calling it a suspicious death. It was shortly after 1 p.m. Friday when officers were called to a bushy area in Bahamas Sound, Georgetown. That's where they discovered the man's body. A local doctor examined the body and pronounced the man dead on the scene. An autopsy will be performed to determine the exact cause of death. And back here in the capital, one man is in hospital nursing gunshot wounds following an overnight shooting. The man was reportedly outside a home on Amos Ferguson Street around 3 this morning when he was approached and shot by a gunman. The injured man was taken to hospital where at last report he was listed in stable condition. Police are appealing for the public's assistance in identifying and locating the person responsible for this shooting. Meantime, a 14-year-old girl is missing again. Police say Mauricia Joseph of Woods Alley off Market Street was reported missing on January 4th. Joseph is of dark brown complexion, stands between 5'4" and 5 feet 5 inches tall, and a slim build. Now, this is the second occurrence in as many weeks. Just last month, she was reported missing and then subsequently found. Anyone with any information as to the whereabouts of the teen is asked to contact the Central Detective Unit at 502-9991 or 2. And there is a lot more to talk about tonight as EXUMA vendors excited to sign up for the Sun Dollar. That's coming up. An EXUMA straw vendor is insisting the sand dollar digital currency is much needed on that island where tourism is booming. Geraldine Dames has spent more than 20 years in the business. She is one of several vendors who signed up to use the program. She says she jumped at the chance to participate.
What they sold to me, it sounds exciting, and this is the era of technology, and they said it's better than the money in your pocket. You wouldn't lose it. If you lost your phone or you lost a card, nobody can steal it. So it sounds very promising and very protected.
The Central Bank of the Bahamas launched its digital currency called Sand Dollar in EXUMA in late December. The digital currency is being tested out during a pilot program in EXUMA for the first 3 months of 2020. Dame says she understands the need for digital currency as more people shy away from carrying money around.
A lot of people have stopped taking around cash just because it's unprotected. If you lost your wallet, it's all gone. And you can't account for it, or nobody can, even if they can't, there's no stipulation to say, oh, this is my money, I left it here or whatever. But with the card, every dollar is accounted for. Even when you make a sale, everything is on record.
BAF Financial and Insurance is celebrating 100 years of providing insurance to the Bahamas. Chief Financial Officer Julian ROLLE said since becoming fully Bahamian-owned, BAF has tripled its business to more than $1 billion in life insurance coverage.
From 2007, BAF has tripled its revenue, and today our company has more than $2.5 billion of life insurance coverage in force. BAF manages more than $100 million in annuity, pensions, and investments, and our company is reinsured by internationally A-rated reinsurers.
Chief Operations Officer Sandy Morley said this 100-year anniversary represents stability.
For BAF, 100 years represents more than just tenure. It represents stability, reliability, prudent management, and a commitment to the principles on which we were founded. A commitment to putting our clients first.
Up next for us tonight, a local pastor says police officers have no right to get physical. That's coming up when our news, the weekend edition, returns.
Business in the Box is your solution for business from Cable Bahamas. It's an internet, voice, mobile, and advertising solution all in one place. Get reliable internet, free domestic call, and a live corporate package, and free TV ad placement, all starting with packages as low as $164 a month. You can save over $3,000 a year. Just call 601-8911. That's 601-8911. And ask for Business in a Box from Cable Bahamas Business Solutions. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to our news, the weekend edition. Pastor and youth advocate Dr. REID is sounding off on recently released videos of police officers hitting several persons at Junkanoo. According to Reid, the actions were uncalled for. He urged officers to act like officers.
We can't be a part of the problem if we can be a part of the solution. You know, we can't agitate, we can't provoke people. Even the Bible says, fathers, do not provoke your children to wrath. Can't provoke these young people. You know, I saw some videos that really bothered me on the air. You don't have the right to beat nobody, children. You see what I'm saying? That right there, that's uncalled for.
Reid said while he thinks the vetting process for the armed forces is just fine, authorities need to take a deeper look at what motivates some persons to join the force.
What's the motivating factor why you want to join our police force? Some people, some police officers, they only join in it because in school, I hope I say this right, in school they wasn't like, they wasn't name brand in school. So they go behind a badge or a gun to be able to feel like they got the power. That ain't what it's about, you know. You civil servants, you serve us. You see what I'm saying? You can't use that power and hide behind it to be a thug when we're trying to fight thugs.
Reid made this plea to police officers.
Look here, brothers, we ain't got that kind of authority, man. You know what I mean? If you arrest somebody, let's do it by the book so we could show our young people that it's all right to do things the right way and get right results.
And still to come, a Met official and author discusses his latest book, so stay with us.
Phone is good. Internet is good. TV is good. But why just pick one thing when you can have everything with Trio? Only $99 a month gets you phone, internet, and cable. That's everything you need for $99 a month. Ask for Trio. Call 601-2200 or email residentialsales@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
Finally tonight, meteorologist and local hurricane historian Wayne Neely is back at it with his recent release of his latest book on storms that have impacted the Bahamas. Neely's 14th book, The Greatest and Deadliest Hurricanes to Impact the Bahamas, is currently on sale on Amazon, where it spent several weeks as a top seller.
It encompasses all the major hurricanes to impact the impact the Bahamas from 1500, when it's the third documented hurricane in the region. It occurred near Crooked Island. The fleet of Christopher Columbus was going from South America to Spain, and they had to pass through the Bahamas. And one of the ships, the Pinta and the Farilla, two ships that were from the fleet of Christopher Columbus, they were impacted by a hurricane and sunk. Both those ships were sunk along with 550 men.
Neely's latest book on hurricanes was released 4 months after Hurricane Dorian devastated Abaco and Grand Bahama, going down in history books as the strongest storm to hit the Bahamas. He says given Dorian's impact, there was no way he could have not included it in his latest book.
Dorian was unique in the sense that when Dorian formed as a Category 5 intensity, that made the Bahamas the top country that impacted by Category 5 storms. That ties with the United States of America.
In addition to being sold on Amazon, Neely's book is also on sale at Logos Bookstore. He says more than anything, he hopes his literary work will be a lesson about storm preparation.